Hello? Hi, guys. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. I hope you can see me. Welcome, everybody. Oh my gosh. You have no idea. My hands are just trembling with excitement right now. I am so happy to see all of you guys active in the chat room. Welcome to the Lotus Fashion eCamp. Hooray! Awesome. Well, again, my name is Jocelyn. If you guys haven't already met me, Jocelyn Quarles of thelotustrail.com. So I am a fashion blogger and consultant. I have a blog called thelotustrail.com if you haven't visited it yet. I've been blogging for about 3 years already, so at some point or another I may have met you, whether giving talks or maybe, out and about on the streets. Anyways, so again, you know what? Give me 1 second. I'm so sorry about that. Some technical difficulties there. All right, guys. Well, hope you don't mind. Let's go ahead and just get started. Again, welcome to the Fashion eCamp online. This is really exciting for me because I've actually never done a webinar like this before. So maybe you guys have, I'm not sure, but this is sort of a new platform for me. And I've done blogging, I've talked to people in person, I've gave presentations and workshops before, but this is the first time that all of us get to be together, interact one-on-one, and hopefully by the end of all of this, you guys will have discovered your fashion personality. And that's really what we're here to do. Okay, so before we actually get started, I wanted to go over a few technicalities with you guys just to make sure that everybody gets familiar with how all of this is going to work. And what you're going to do to help facilitate this and make it a very smooth process for all of us. So you all should have received, first of all, your style workbooks in the mail. Hopefully you have that in front of you, and if not, feel free to get up and go grab it from the mailbox, but it should have been at your house by today, so make sure you have this one in front of you right now. Secondly, I wanted to make sure that you guys knew how to use the chat room, and I guess it looks like you guys are really active in it already, which is so exciting, and I'm super happy you guys are getting familiar with that. What I really want this experience to be is a very interactive one, not where you just sit there and watch a video, but that you guys interact, ask questions. If there's something that I say that you want me to repeat, go ahead and tell me. If you want me to elaborate on something, let me know. If you agree with something that I say, tell me in the chat room. Tell me, yes, amen, sister. Keep preaching. But whatever it is that you want to say, go ahead and interact with each other there in the chat room. You will see that Itzel, my very close friend, she's actually here with me in the other room, but hi Itzel. She's actually here to help make sure that all of your questions get answered. Okay, so as I'm going through the presentations and you guys have anything that you want me to elaborate or you just have a question, type it in there. Itzel will be sure to give that over to me, so that way by the end of all this session we will all have our questions answered. Okay, so say hello to everybody again in the chat room, get familiar with that. The other thing is that you will notice that there's a video of me right up on top and then the chat room on the bottom. So if you want to be able to see both of them side to side, I would really recommend for you guys to go to the chat room, and if you look right on the very bottom of the chat room, it's on the bottom right corner, there's this little square with an arrow pointing out. Do you guys all see that? So again, it's a little square with the arrow pointing out. If you click on that, it's actually going to pop out the chat room, and you can move it around on your screen, so that way you can put it right next to the video and they're not on top of each other. Does that make sense? So once again, if you go to the bottom of the chat room, there's a box with an arrow. Click on that and then move the chat room up right next to the video, So that way you guys can see both at the same time and you don't have to go up and down on the screen. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense. Let Itzel know if we need to explain that again, but hopefully you guys get that. All right? Lastly, should there be any sort of internet malfunction or there's an earthquake or something, unfortunate happens, I really hope that it doesn't. But just in case, just go ahead and stand by. Maybe it's an internet issue or something. I don't anticipate it happening. But just in case, stand by. We'll try to fix it. And if anything, we'll go ahead and email you to let you know the next steps. Okay? So a little bit of those things out of the way. Once again, any questions, anything that you want me to address, leave them in the chat room. We're going to go ahead and answer all of the questions that you have. And other than that, this hour is going to go by so, so fast. So are you guys ready to get started? Yes? All right. Hopefully you are. So, like I told you, I am a fashion blogger and a style consultant. But what I wanted to let you guys know is that I wasn't always the most fashionable person. So if any of you are out there thinking that you have to be a fashionista or that you were born with a certain fashion gene or something like that, it's absolutely not true. And what happens for me is that growing up, I was always into style. I was always using it as a tool of expression, but I was never one of those popular fashion kids. And one of the reasons is because I always thought that you had to have a lot of money or something in order to be fashionable, or you had to be with the popular group, with the cheerleaders and the football players, that kind of group. Well, it's interesting because as you guys are going to be growing up, and many of you are still in your early high school years, you're going to see that your style will evolve a lot. And I know mine did. I mean, if you ask my family and the people that I was friends with back in high school, they will tell you that I was a completely different person. Back in the day, I considered my style to be this rocker chick. Can you believe that? I mean, I was shopping at thrift stores all the time. I wore nothing but jeans, never wore anything like a skirt or a dress. I always wore Converse shoes, or Chucks is what we used to call them. I would go shopping for band t-shirts, and to top it all off, and literally to top it off, I actually used to tease my hair. Okay, like huge tease, where you grab your hair and you backcomb it and it turns really huge, and it's kind of like this, rocker chick kind of look. So I was totally into that, and I even cut my own hair to do that as well. So completely different from what I am right now. But I always sort of rebelled against fashion a little bit, I guess you could say. And I never really knew that your outward appearances actually are a reflection of what's going on interiorly. And I learned that over time. And so I started realizing that I want the outside to match more closely with what I was really feeling on the inside, okay? And I wanted to really make sure that those two images were very cohesive and that they really balanced each other out. And that's really what fashion, or really what style is all about, is to make sure that your outside and your inside really matches perfectly. And so that's why I say through your high school journey, you're going to go through so many different style evolutions, really trying to figure that out. But the first step is to know yourself, right? You have to know who you are and what you want to say with your style. And that's why I'm so excited to help you guys figure it out, especially through these workbooks and through these exercises we're going to do, because I wish somebody was there to help me growing up and figuring this kind of stuff out. So I want to be there for you. So hopefully I'll be like a big sister for the next couple weeks for you guys. So that's my little spiel at the beginning. I want to go ahead and give you guys a quote, and you'll find it later on in your workbook as well. He's one of my favorite fashion designers named Oscar de la Renta, and he says, "Fashion is about dressing according to what's fashionable. Style is more about being yourself." So once again, fashion is about dressing according to what's fashionable, Style is more about being yourself. And we're going to get to know that for the next couple of weeks. And so I'm super excited to help you guys discover that, discovering your personal style. Okay, now the overall goal for all of this. Do you guys know the goal of great style? Well, great style means to be like a lotus flower. What does that mean? Okay, so in your workbook, on page 2, if you turn right over here, at the very bottom, there's a little poem here, and I think it's very beautiful. And I wanted to go ahead and read this poem to you guys because I think it's a great way to sort of kick off the sessions. And also, it answers the question about why I named my blog The Lotus Trail. So I'll read that out loud to you guys. Nothing that grows in a pond surpasses the beauty of the lotus flower. With green leaves and silky yellow styles, amidst milky white petals, though mired in mud, its silky yellow styles, milky white petals, and green leaves do not smell of mud. So I got this poem actually, I believe it's the national poem of Vietnam, and they actually have young school kids memorize this poem when they're little because the lotus flower is their national flower. And I really think it's interesting if you were to do a Google search on the lotus flower, do some Wikipedia search, you're going to find some interesting things. I was an art history major in college, so I was also really interested in the symbolism of different things. But first of all, the lotus flower is actually used in a lot of Asian cultures as a symbol of beauty and purity. So I think that's really perfect. Secondly, if you, like the poem suggests, the lotus flower actually grows on the bottom of a murky, muddy pond or body of water, okay? And what happens is when it blossoms, it rises up to the surface and opens up its leaves. And the interesting thing is when it comes up and blossoms, it's completely unstained from the mud and the murkiness of the water. It has no trace of that once it blossoms. Lastly, the stem of the lotus flower is so strong that it's almost unbreakable. Okay, so I thought, oh my gosh, that's a perfect name for my blog because in a way, all of us are like little lotus flowers, right? We're going through this sort of journey of trying to find our style and express ourselves with as much beauty as we can, but we're surrounded by this culture that can sometimes produce muddy and murky types of fashions. And so our job really is to blossom through all of that and find ourselves, have a strong stem, and I think this session and the next few sessions will help you guys to determine what it is you want to say and to find that beauty that you can share with others. Okay, so awesome stuff, right guys? So my little lotus flowers, let's go ahead and get right into it. If you guys turn to page 3 in your workbook, you're going to see this photo of 5 girls here and then an exercise. So we're going to actually go right into it, no holding back. I hope you guys are ready because it's going to move fast, okay? But the first exercise is about finding your body type, okay? And why is it important to find your body type? Well, I'm sure you guys are actually getting ready to go back to school shopping. Maybe you and your mother may have differences in opinion about what you like, what she likes, you know, different things like that. So we need to be able to figure out what exactly objectively looks the best on us, okay? And by knowing our body type, we get to actually find clothes that flatter us in the best way possible. So we're going to do this exercise. But in order to do that, we need to know which body type we have. And if you look at the photo, there's 5 girls here, and each of them represents a particular body type that most women have. There are the pear, the strawberry, the rectangle, the hourglass, and the apple. Okay, so perhaps you guys fall into one of these categories, and this exercise will help you to do that. And I'll talk through the steps of what you guys do, and then I want you guys to literally get up from your computers and go and do this exercise, okay? So step number 1, you guys are going to stand in front of a full-length mirror, or at least a mirror that you can see most of yourself, and parentheses, in your undergarments if possible. And I think this is really important because you need to be able to see your body objectively, how it is, look at it and examine it. So step number 2, you're going to focus on your torso. And that basically is picturing a dress form. You're going to look at the shoulders, the bust area, the rib cage, the midsection, and down to the hips. Okay, so you're going to look at that particular part of your body. And number 3, you're going to analyze your torso shape. And it asks you guys to make some observations about your body. It's going to ask you about your shoulders, your bust, your midsection, and your hips, whether it's wider or narrower, whether it's large or small, those kinds of things. And then some other helpful tips at the very bottom. It's going to ask you which part of my body is the hardest to dress. So, for example, it's really hard for me sometimes to go shopping and look for blouses or jackets because I have broad shoulders. Okay, some people may not think that I do, but it's hard to find jackets and sweaters that actually fit right up here. So that's what I would put down for myself, is which part of your body is the hardest to dress. You know, you always have issues with your tummy or with your hips or whatever it is. And then secondly, when I gain weight, which part of my body tends to carry the pounds? So sometimes people, when they gain weight, it goes straight to their stomach or something like that. So figure out what those things are. And I want you guys to literally, it's 5:20 right now. So I'll give you guys about, what, 6-7 minutes or so to go do this. Do this exercise. Go lock yourself up in your room or in your bathroom or whatever you need to do. Go and do that, and I will meet you guys here in 7 minutes. Okay? Bye-bye. Okay, guys. Hopefully everybody's back. I'll give you just another minute to get settled in. We're good? Sort of. Another minute. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and just move on. Hopefully you guys are all back at your desks. What we're going to do now is actually go through each of the body types, and I'll explain what characteristics constitute each body type. So turn with me to page 4, where it explains a little bit about each one. Okay, we're just going to go from left to right, and we will break each one down. So we have the pear on the very left. And a pear basically is somebody who may have more volume in their hips than in their upper body. So if you can see in the picture, it's actually pretty clearly defined that this girl has a little bit more in her hips than in her upper body. So that's what a pear is constituted as. Secondly, we have the strawberry. So she's kind of the opposite of the pear. A strawberry has more volume in their upper body than in their lower body. So you can see it's kind of the opposite. Third, we have the rectangle. So a rectangle is somebody whose upper body and hips are around about the same, but you have no waist definition or little waist definition. So sometimes people who are athletes may have this type of body. But really what it is, it's pretty balanced, but you have very little waist definition. And opposite to that, we have the hourglass, which is somebody whose upper body and hips are about the same as well, but there is waist definition. Okay. Lastly, we have the apple. The apple is somebody who may be balanced or so, but she probably is a little bit rounder in the midsection. Okay, so kind of like an apple. And I really like that they used these sort of terms, you know, fruit, to describe these shapes because you can really see them, right? And fruit is like my favorite food, so win-win for me. But go ahead and turn to the next page, page 5, and it actually breaks down for you the different things that you can do to help address that body type. And I just wanted to say a couple things about your body type. When you know what your body type is, sometimes we can be very observant, but sometimes we can be really hard on ourselves too. That we think, oh my gosh, you know, how am I ever going to be able to look good when I have these big arms, or when I have this big tummy all the time? You know, this is just your natural body. And I really wouldn't see it in that way. I think knowing your body type and knowing even if it's just slightly you have a pear body type, or if you're slightly a strawberry, or if you're slightly even an apple, it's good to know the tools to use in order to use clothes to your advantage. You know, I think clothes can really be a little bit magical in a way, where it can create proportions and it can create balance where you don't naturally have it. And I think that's a really awesome thing. Because it's just in human nature to want to have things balanced, right? When there's a little bit more of an emphasis on something, it may look a little bit like it just needs more proportion. And that's just what we want to see as human beings. You see that in nature all the time as well. So that's why it's good to know what you are, but then also as we go through each of these, pay attention to each one of them, so that way maybe you can help a friend or your mom or somebody that needs help in this area, so that way you can define it for them and help them to dress their body type too. So we're actually going to go through each one, and I'll explain why I chose these examples to help you guys out. So we're going to start with the pear. If you are a pear, your aim is to add volume to the top in order to minimize the bottom. So you picture something like this, which is a pear. You have a lot of volume here at the bottom. So in order to create balance, doesn't it make sense to add some more volume up here on the top so that way it's more proportioned? Yes, I think it really does make a lot of sense. And what you can do in order to add volume are a few things. And I put some examples here. First of all, we have this beautiful chunky necklace. So one thing you can do to do that is, add something really bright and bold up here at the top to help create more emphasis up there. Secondly, we have this blouse, which has a lot of hearts on it, and the one next to it as well, it has those checkered patterns. You want color and you want pattern up there on top, and that way it de-emphasizes the bottom. We have those pants right there. I think they're navy or they're dark jeans. So if you're a little bit self-conscious about having bigger hips, then maybe you want to try darker pants on the bottom, because dark colors recede, they go away into the vision, and then lighter colors actually come forward and come out at you. So bright on top, textures, patterns, colors on the top, and then maybe more muted colors on the bottom. And then lastly, we have this scarf. So big chunky scarf would be really awesome to wear to create more of a balance for a pear. Okay, and then we have the strawberry right here at the bottom. So I put those two together because, like I said, they're kind of opposites. So a strawberry, she may have bigger shoulders or bigger bust, so she wants to add more volume to the lower half. All right, so it's like the opposite. So we have this beautiful black peplum top. And maybe you guys already have a peplum top. They're really trendy and really popular and really classic pieces. But this top actually adds flare to the hip. It nips at the waist and comes out to add a little bit more volume. Same thing with this skirt right here. It flares away from the body. A-line skirts are going to be really, really awesome for you guys who are strawberries. And then this orange and blue blouse, like I said with the colors, darker colors go into the background and makes things look farther away and smaller, and brighter colors pop at you and come at you more strong. So we have this orange and blue blouse to help you to do that, de-emphasizing the shoulders and popping out the color. And then lastly, we have those pants, those checkered pants. By all means, if you want to add more texture and more visual interest to the bottom, do it with a printed pant, florals, polka dots, checkers, anything you want down there. All right, next page. We have the rectangle. All right, so rectangle and hourglass are sort of similar. The problem with the rectangle is that maybe you want to create a little bit more of a waist definition. So how do you do that? The first example is actually this blouse. If you can see, it's actually cinched at the waist. And from what I can see, maybe it even has a little tie right there where you can actually, tie it up around your waist. And I like that one. I think I pulled that from the Target website. Love Target, right? Okay, so that's a really great way to add a waist definition. Secondly, we have that blue blouse. It's sort of ruched right there in the middle. And then the third one, we have this color-blocked dress. I love the color-blocking trend, but it almost looks like it's a skirt and a blouse all together, to separate pieces. But it's actually a dress, and it just creates that blunt waist definition right there in the middle, so you can't miss it. Okay, and then we have the hourglass. Your aim as an hourglass is to maintain the balanced proportions, but you also want to focus on elongating the silhouette. Okay, so if you feel like maybe, oh, I look really short in a lot of my clothes, you might want to take that into consideration and really examine your vertical proportions. And I have something here for petites. Okay, so look at this purple skirt. Basically what you want is, when you're a petite, you want to make sure that your skirts are not so long, because sometimes when a petite wears a long skirt, like maybe a midi skirt or a floor-length skirt, if it has a lot of fabric, it may look overwhelming for somebody who's petite or short. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're really creating a longer leg line by having your skirt at your knee. And then secondly, we have this sweater here. It's green, and I wanted to bring that into your attention because notice where the bottom of the sweater hits, right there at the hip. It's not longer. Sometimes there's these really awesome trends that are like the longer sweaters or the boyfriend sweaters, and those are really cool. but if you're short and having a really long sweater, it kind of makes somebody look just a little bit shorter. So if you want to create more of the illusion that you're taller, go with a higher waisted sweater or jacket. Okay, so then we have this for plus sizes. Okay, this beautiful yellow dress. And I love this dress for two reasons. First of all, it's got this really beautiful large print. So if you're a plus size girl, you can definitely pull off large prints. And then especially, I like that it has a V-neck. So something that's not going to be too, suffocating right up here, but that opens your neckline a little bit. It helps to elongate the body. And then with this necklace here, I added that as an example because it's a big chunky necklace. Plus size girls can definitely pull off bigger, more statement jewelry as opposed to somebody who is a little bit small and petite. Maybe a big statement, bracelet or big chunky necklace may look a little bit overwhelming. Okay, and then lastly we have the apple. So the aim for an apple is to wear slimming, structured clothes that create a waistline. Okay. And first of all, I went ahead and gave this example for this dress here. It's beautiful blue printed dress. First of all, it has polka dots. So you want texture, you want pattern, you want polka dots and big. You can definitely go big. But most importantly, it has that built-in belt. Do you guys see that? And if a belt is not built into the garment, you can definitely just go to the store, buy a belt, and then just add that to your outfit. And it actually makes it look really awesome. It's also A-line because it flares away from the body, and it's got some really awesome structured shoulders. Okay, so that's really what creates a really nice balanced proportion with a defined waist. Secondly, we have this jacket. If you guys watched that show, What Not to Wear by Stacy and Clinton, I love, love, love that show. It's like my favorite. But you'll hear them say a lot that the best way to de-emphasize a tummy is to wear a jacket. And I put here this denim jacket because it's kind of hot still. But as you guys transition into your fall and winter wardrobes, maybe getting a jacket to really add some more visual interest and to even hide a tummy, if that's what you're self-conscious about, would be a really great way to do that. And then lastly, we have this triangle-shaped blouse. So one important thing to point out about this is that this blouse, notice its shape. It's kind of shaped like a triangle, sort of. It comes away. It's not a square. Okay, we have a lot of options out there to buy square shirts, but if your problem area is in your tummy, then a square shirt is actually just going to hug all of you and all of your tummy and may make you feel a little bit more self-conscious. But what you want to do is look for shirts that are more of a triangle, that are more giving and forgiving, as you can say. All right, so I hope all of these things are making sense. I have a couple questions here that I wanted to answer from you guys. It looks like you guys are being really active in the chat room, so thank you so much. First question, can you be almost a mix between the two? And the answer is yes. Like I said before, you may not be so obviously one over the other. You may not have these huge bulging shoulders or big hips or whatever. You can be a mix between the two, but the reason why I wanted to go over each one of these is so that way you guys know the tools and techniques in order to address whatever problem area you are having. So if you're a mix between having a big bust and then also you don't have very much waist definition, you can use the examples for both of those to help you achieve a really beautiful balanced look. Okay, and second question, are peplum tops a bad idea for us pairs? Oh, that's a really good question. You know what? I would tend to say depending on the shape and the size of the peplum, because sometimes you have peplum tops that just have a very slight peplum, like the very bottom of it just comes out a little bit, which is fine. If it's really huge, it's only going to emphasize the hips a lot more. So I hope that makes sense. So it just depends, all right? Lastly, what if we have a mix of two body types? Oh, so I kind of answered that question already. So if you have a mix, make sure you take tips from each of those sections. Okay, guys. So like I said, this time is going by so fast. Oh my gosh. We are already ready to move on to our next section, which is the colors test. Oh my gosh. Which color looks good on me over the other? Sometimes I have, these crises in the dressing room where I can't choose which one is better, and somebody's not there to help me. So what do you do in this situation? Well, we're going to go ahead and move on to take the colors test, okay? Now, This colors test is actually really interesting because it tests which undertones you have. Okay, so when it comes to your skin tone, there are certain colors that look great on you, but what's more important to know is what is your undertone. Okay, it's the tone of your skin that's underneath that first layer. Okay, and every person is either cool or they're warm. Okay, either cool or warm, one of the two. Okay, and this test will help you to discover that. All right, so what you're going to need to do is take a few moments. What you're going to need is a yellow or orange shirt. And if you don't have one of those things, go into your mom's closet if you can, or find a towel or a piece of cloth that's orange or yellow. And then you're also going to need a silver piece of jewelry and a gold piece of jewelry to help you answer these questions. Okay, so go ahead and take a few moments. It's 5:44. We're going to come back. Can we do this in let's say 6 minutes? Yes. Let's do this quickly. 6 minutes. We're going to come back here, and hopefully you guys will have your results by then. Okay, guys. We'll see you soon. Okay, girls, so welcome back. I hope you guys got your results. If you go ahead and turn to page 8, this is where we're going to see the colors that look best on us. So, your results. If you guys got mostly A's, that means you have cool undertones. And if you have mostly B's, that means you have warm undertones. So let us know which ones you guys got. I'm curious to know how many cool and warm girls are out there. So we're going to go ahead and look at this chart. Over here under the cool section, those are actually the colors that one put up close against your face, maybe up here on a blouse or a scarf. Those are going to be the ones to actually bring out the best features in you. For example, your skin tone, your eye color, your hair color, and then opposite for the warms. For you guys who have warm undertones, these colors right over here on the other side, those are the ones that if you wear those close and up to your face, then it's going to make you look alive and healthy. And I remember personally coming to work a couple times, and my friends would always comment on my outfits, but sometimes when I wore this really bright white shirt, some people would ask me, "Are you feeling okay today?" Or "You look a little sickly. Are you all right?" And I was like, no, like, I'm okay, question mark. So, you know, that's just an example. I think sometimes certain colors that we wear make us look alive and healthy, and opposed to other colors maybe make us look a little bit more sickly or sullen, or not so much alive. So now you guys know which ones are going to look best on you. And right down here at the bottom, I just put just some more colors on there, not so many as up here, but what I wanted to know is right over here next to the warm, you have this little shaded one. That means that for warm girls, for warm skin undertones, jewelry that will look best on you would be gold, okay? And the opposite, for the ones who are cool, the silver jewelry actually looks the best on you. Okay, so that'll actually help you to make some decisions next time you guys go shopping. Okay. So lastly, hope you guys, let me know if you have any questions on those areas as well. And if you turn the page, I didn't let you know this earlier, but you actually have a whole page here where you have notes and questions and comments. But if you go ahead and look at the very bottom, I actually have a couple of exercises here for you guys. What I want you guys to do, I know we're not going to see each other for another week, so I want you guys to make sure that this is still in your minds and you're practicing this and noticing this for other people, noticing body types and some of the things that make and flatter them, and also colors too. But I want you guys to actually do these tests on 2 other people this week. You can do it on your sister, you can do it on your mom, you can do it on a friend, whoever it is that you're around. Do these tests on them and help them to find out what their body type is and how to best flatter it, as well as find out what undertones they have and what colors will actually look the best on them. So that's sort of like your homework. Do those, make some observations. We'll chat again next week about how it went, and that'll go ahead and give you guys something to do, so that's why it's fresh on your mind. Okay. We're almost out of time, guys. I'm so sad. This was so much fun. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. Okay. If you guys turned in your applications, which I'm pretty sure all of you guys did, I asked you guys to answer a few questions for me. I asked you who your style influencers were, what your style challenges are, and I really enjoyed reading those. Thank you so much for filling those out and being so honest with me. I hope by the end of this I will make sure to answer all of those questions for you. But I also put in there that if you fill that out, you're going to be entered for a drawing, for a chance to win something. So I actually have a giveaway for you guys. Exciting. All right. So I'm actually going to need the bowl. Let me go ahead and grab a little bowl with all of your names on it. Okay. So, do you guys want to know what the giveaway is? Drum roll. Okay. So now that you guys chose your colors, which one's going to look better on you, there's going to be some of you who have warm undertones and cool undertones. So I actually have some scarves here from Target. Hooray! So I'm going to choose a winner, okay? And you guys, whoever I choose, you have to let us know if you are a warm undertone or a cool undertone, so that way I know which scarf to send you, okay? So let's go ahead and do this raffle here. Drum roll. The winner is Grace Brady. Hooray! Yay for Grace. So make sure you let Itzel know if you are a cool or a warm undertone. That way, Grace, I can send you your scarf, and hopefully that will add to your collection for your back-to-school wardrobe. Awesome, guys. All right. So we have a couple minutes left. I saw you guys had some questions, so I'm going to go ahead and answer those now. Okay. Let me read these here. So the question is, I am almost certain I have cool undertones. You're very pale with brown eyes. Couldn't wear yellow or orange, but I have dark brown, golden brown hair. Would it be a good idea to dye? I'm sorry. To dye your hair brown when I get older? Is that the question? Okay. Would it be a good idea to dye your hair brown when you get older? Very pale with brown eyes. Okay, so the question is, she's kind of pale, she has brown eyes, she can't wear yellow or orange, but would it be a good idea to wear brown? And I say, yeah, if it's like a dark brown or something like that, I think it's a good idea. Plus, you're at the age where you're still young and you can experiment with a lot of different things, so definitely try it out and see if it actually brings out your best features. So I would say just try it and see what happens. Okay, so somebody asked, what color are you? What color am I? Well, I actually have warm undertones, so I'm warm, and some of the colors look better on me are for the warm undertones. Yes. Okay, and then do these color tests work on men too? And the answer is yes, they do work on everybody. Okay, so as a matter of fact, when I was learning how to do these tests, I was actually noticing that I got better at determining who had what, you know, who had cool undertones, who had warm undertones, just by observing and kind of looking and observing them and their skin color and everything like that. So you guys might get to that point too. You know, now that you know what to do, you may be able to see it, and this applies to everybody, okay? One of the reasons too why it's sort of like scientific and it's pretty objective for most cases is that a lot of estheticians and makeup artists and people in the beauty industry, they use these techniques in order to help people learn which color hair to dye, which color lipsticks and blushes and eyeshadows to use depending on your skin and undertones. So it's actually, you know, scientifically proven that it makes somebody look, you know, one way more alive and healthy versus another. So it's pretty awesome stuff. And now you guys all know this. All right, so I passed my time at 6:01. I am so sad to finally be done with this first session. I really hope that you guys had a lot of fun with this. I see that you guys actually learned quite a bit. You learned your body types, how to flatter them, the colors that look good on you. So hopefully that you're going back to school shopping right now, you can choose some of these and put these techniques in place, and hopefully they're helpful to you. But like I said before, do the exercises this week. Next week, we're actually going to be doing your style, personality, and your closet raid. So we're going to actually pinpoint what your personal style is, how to describe it to other people, and then how to clean out your closet, make it fresh, so that way you're ready to go for back to school. So next week, same time, 5 p.m. on Wednesday. Sign into the chat room a few minutes before. We'll be there. Say hello to everybody. It's probably dinner time, so you guys make sure you tell your family everything that you learned tonight. Have a great dinner, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.